About ready to hop into it here. I know it's going to be a tough road ahead for both of these teams, but I believe this is going to be one that goes the distance.
All right, straight away on to Ankara, and it is time to see what we're going to get. Will it indeed be a close matchup as you expect, or do one of these two teams run away with things pretty substantially? Let's find out. Carahouse will be starting off on the attack, and already you're seeing a bit of a shift up from some of the play we've seen on the defense of this map so far today. Revenge being very aggressive into mid, gets himself into pit, and just sets up shop.
I'm trying to figure out if they're actually running a triple OM setup. Yeah, they are on the side of Carahouse. A very interesting opening strategy. Meanwhile, Revenge doesn't have an OM at all. Actually, there's going to be no OMs on the side of Pacific Macta. So a very interesting opening setup from both teams. And Carahouse really relying on these opening picks to try and get something rolling, because 3 OMs on an execution really isn't going to work out for you.
No, certainly not. Aldrin may want to take a little bit of a look into mid here, and that could be his undoing, but just still opting to shoulder around that corner and not really committed too much. Shady posted on what you would consider to be the standard ORM line, but beyond that, I mean, where do you expect to find an advantage here for Carahouse? I don't know, man. Like, I suppose this is something that you may have looked at and sort of said, yeah, Pacific Macta, they want to play aggressive in the first round of Ankara or something like that, but not really getting it, right? They're not giving any picks over to Carahouse, and that makes life difficult for the attacking side. MVA does just go for a little bit of an info peek there. Doesn't see too much outside of A, which actually is false info, and leaves him alone on A. So this could be a problem. If he goes down right here and Carahouse hit that bomb site quickly, which is exactly what they're going to do, well, now all of a sudden it goes from having to be 3 ORMs on the entry to 3 ORMs on the post plant, and that is not going to be fun for Pacific Macta to deal with.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is I believe they changed out most of the OMs, so it's only Shady now that has one left on the post plant. He's going to be playing on the lurk here, watching for that flank as well. Justin already wrapping around. ZYK on the long rotation as well. Shady actually is going to get trapped here on the backside of A long. The shots, though, not going to be connected by ZYK. A crucial mistake here. Now Shady gets the follow-up. Shady, he's looking for more here. Might find it. Justin able to hold on for one. Justin, though, he gets the double, and now Aldrin from above gets the double kill as well. Clears out the site, and Pacific steal away the first round.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I think just a little bit of wayward aim maybe for a couple of the players, and some of the duels don't really play out the way you would have expected them to. But it is Pacific Macta that do walk away with the first round. So Carahouse back to the drawing board. See what they bring to the table this time around. Dola's got himself an ORM. Rambo's got an ORM. Shady's got an ORM. So it was initially a similar setup, although Dola has traded back out for a rifle instead.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough response here now from the side of Carahouse. I'm not really a fan of these heavy OM setups early on. It's really relying on a lot of information being gathered to make them impactful, but it's just kind of the same setup from Pacific, playing a little aggressive in mid. They've got Revenge again in this mid-garage position. This time they've got that support underneath from Aldrin, waiting to see if that peak comes through, but Carahouse playing really patient, but it might actually not work out for them because they're not actually getting these peaks too easily from the side of Pacific, who's just kind of playing a little bit forward, but not full swinging here.
Well, a little bit of a reroute for Carahouse as A is smoked off at the moment. So they'll opt to go in the direction of mid. ZYK set up there alongside Revenge. Revenge doesn't really have much of an angle right now, but if Lucas is going to go charging out into mid like that on his own, well, that's going to be pretty easy pickings for the Crossfire that Pacific Macta have established. Shady able to trade back on in, but of course Aldrin is there to secure one more himself. Now Rambo missing the shot, and well, Carahouse, I'm not really sure what that round was essentially. Just felt like a lot of very individual oriented peaks into mid, and they have been punished for that.
Now Dola left alone, 1 versus 4. He's going to try and find his way out of it. Able to find the first, but he's already down to 16 HP, and the time is ticking. 30 seconds on the clock. He's got to make his move pretty quickly here now. The collapse is already coming through. He's got a player down out of the vents. He's going to find another kill here, though. Narrows it down to a 1 versus 2. Aldrin and ZYK spot him out, though. The double peek gets the job done, and Pacific, they've got a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, pretty good-looking couple of rounds as well from Pacific. Macta. Not super impressed with what I'm seeing so far from Carahouse, to be quite honest with you. It just doesn't look like they have what they need on the attack of Ankara right now. I mean, this triple Orm setup is a little bit interesting as well. I can kind of get the idea behind that, but I mean, still persisting with the double Orm setup. It hasn't been working, and I really wasn't impressed with that push into mid from them. Very individualistic, and it deserved to be taken apart the way that it was. So Pacific Macta definitely feeling confident so far. Carahouse, a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, I'm hoping they play a little bit more strategic here. It almost seems like Carahouse so far is just trying to take a lot of gunfights, and they're not having the best of time in winning them. So maybe they need to change the pace here. Maybe drop that second Om and get a little bit more assertive on how they execute into these sites, because they've got a couple players at least who've been hitting the shots here to open things up. Shady and Dola having a pretty decent start in this one. It's just the rest of the team that kind of needs to step up around them and make that impact known. It's going to be a much more safe setup, though, coming out from Pacific in this round. Only one player, though, defending this B bomb site, and ZYK could run into trouble soon.
Yeah, I think you got to remember that first round, Carahouse pretty much got control of A for free and still lost it. So even though there's only one player here on B right now, ZYK, if he can even just get 1 kill, maybe the retakes are going to be comfortable enough for Pacific Macta. No Orm on their side, so they're more than happy to just take those retakes. But ZYK even edging away from the B side a little bit now, as that util starts to get tossed in, and he may well get isolated out of this site. Smoke doesn't look like it's gone exactly where it's intended to for Carahouse, but they'll still be able to get up and onto the site once some of that util does eventually get locked on down. Quick rotation across, though, from Pacific Macta, and with 30 seconds left here, Carahouse are going to find it potentially pretty difficult to plant the bomb.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Pacific already collapsing onto their position. The bomb will get planted, but there's not a lot of room to work with for the side of Carahouse. Dola goes down on the lurk as well from MVA. And now they've already got a 5-on-3, making a 5-on-2 for the retake. Lucas and LDX, they're trying to hang on, but it's not going to be for too long. Lucas tries to take matters into his own hands, though, gets a triple kill, and it's down to the 1v1. Justin versus Lucas for the round, but the time is ticking. Justin has to go now, but he falls down. All Lucas has to do is just stay alive at this point, and he's played the clock perfectly. Justin, he's stuck in the corner. The time is down, though, and Lucas, he's won it just off the clock alone. He gets it done. What a play from Lucas to get this one on the board for Carahouse.
Yeah, very, very nice, sharp stuff from Lucas, and you get the sense as to why he's the top-rated player on that roster according to the stats. What I'll say about that, though, is if that's the only way they're going to win a round, you cannot be banking on that to happen every single round. So they need to be doing something a little better than that. You can't rely on Lucas to get a 4K to close out the post plan. Needs to be a little cleaner than that for Carahouse, but at least they're on the board. It's been a shaky start to the attacking side of Ankara so far. Lucas is feeling confident, so he's going to take that peek into mid himself. Won't see much.
Yeah, right now it's going to be up to Carahouse to still have a little bit safer of a round here. That one definitely too close for comfort. Now you can see Shady here trying to sneak underneath the A bomb site. Justin may have had a chance to jump spot him there on the back of site. Not sure if he actually caught the angle. MVA playing that first point of contact as Dola tries to sneak in. The counter flash as well stalls them out, but they still have a lot of presence on this bomb side. MVA and Dola collide here. It's going to be a quick 2-piece on the board for Carahouse. Now a 5-on-3, make it a 5-on-2. Pacific, they've got no room to work with now.
Yeah, it's just a little bit more like it, maybe what we were expecting from Carahouse, right? They were a little bit sleepy in those first couple of rounds, but now starting to look a little bit sharper. Good entry from Shady, covering off the boxes, and Dola gets the crossfire angle on lock. That said, I mean, they can't continue to give these kinds of tools to Aldrin, who is just an absolute machine, retaking the A site. He is on for the ace, all 5 kills. If Rambo were to give it to him, Rambo's not interested. He's backed away all the way into vent. The round's now unwinnable, but that's got to be a wake-up call. Rambo catches him on the defuse. Carahouse get themselves another win, but I mean, that is something that concerns me, right? Carahouse take control of that site, and then for whatever reason, they just want to take fights while Pacific Macta is rotating in one by one and just get booked by Aldrin. And then all of a sudden, you're in a 1v1. How do you let that happen? There needs to be better coordination than that on this kind of a level if they want to ensure that they're going to win these rounds, because that is very nearly the exact same thing that happened to them in the first round.
Yeah, it almost was. I feel like if he just stuck the Ninja Diffuse there, he probably would have had the round. It was just a matter of lucky timing there from Rambo to close it out. But yeah, it still seems like they're playing a little bit too scrappy on the side of Carahouse. I'm hoping during the pause that's kind of what they're talking about, because it almost seems like a lot of the decisions are a little bit too loose in how they're playing so far. So I hope they reel it in a little bit, play a little bit more as a unit, and I think they'll still be in a good situation, because it does seem shot for shot like they are the slightly stronger team here. It just seems like strategically they're not playing very well.
They're not. I mean, you can see the coordination is definitely not there for them. Obviously, there's no coach behind the team in the booth right there. So I think if this is something that persists throughout the first map, that's definitely, if I was the coach on their side of the field, I'd be really highlighting that and saying, guys, you need to be taking this a little bit more seriously as a cohort rather than as individuals. You don't need to be the hero and take that aim duel on your own. You know, let's 3-2-1 it, make sure we're swinging together, putting ourselves in positions to almost not lose rather than hopefully win. But look, I mean, end of the day, they still win the round, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I think moving forward, they're definitely going to have to do something a little bit more in unison, especially on the post plants. Just not setting up to trade is proving to be a little bit of a downfall for them so far in this first half. And this is a map where I was expecting them to be a little bit more strong on right out of the gate, and we just haven't seen that strength from them just yet. So hopefully there's a chance here they can start piecing things together. But on the same side of things, you really got to hand it to Pacific, looking a little bit stronger than I anticipated as well, especially these retakes from them, very solid. The shots they're hitting as well, definitely impressive.
Yes, I'm not sure what's happening at the moment. I thought we were in an attack pause, but it's gone on for a little longer than you'd think. I don't see any issues. Everyone seems to be pretty happy, ready to go. Okay, apparently it is still attack pause, from what I'm told. Maybe each team took one attack pause and they put them back to back. I'm not sure. It's a very long attack pause though.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what they do coming out of it now, because it's kind of hard to get a read, especially on the side of Carahouse, of what they're really doing, because it just doesn't seem to be unified on their approach. So I'm hoping coming out of this they can have some really solid executes behind them. But I feel like Pacific, they just kind of got to keep doing what they're doing here. I haven't noticed any major flaws in their setup. Their retakes and rotations have been pretty much where they need to be. There's a few moments where they're just not hitting the shots they need to, but across the board, this is exactly what they need to do on the GR side.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, looks like we're getting back into the game as far as I understand. So the mystery of the extended attack pause will never be answered. But it was attack pause. That's all I know. Who does that benefit more? I mean, obviously at this point, Kara back-to-back rounds and feeling a bit of that momentum. All of a sudden, extended pause. A bit of that momentum slows down.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, though, because I feel like even though they did win back-to-back rounds, they didn't feel like great rounds either way. Both of them coming down to 1v1s where one of them was a clutch for them and one was almost a clutch against them. So I think at this point, Carahouse is really going to be rethinking their strategy. I'm hoping they get rid of these triple OM setups at the start of the round. It hasn't been the best for them. Even the double OM is a little bit questionable at times in terms of just how they're positioning here. So hopefully they're able to make some adjustments here and really show us what they can do. But looks like we are going to be in a technical pause now as well. So hopefully that's something they can get resolved soon here.
Yeah. I'm told we're resetting the lobby, so that might take a little while. Had to be a technical pause from the start, right? I know it was a tac pause, but like after that tac pause graphic went down, some sort of tech pause had to happen right there, right? There's no way that was a tactical pause for that long. You can see some of the notes there for Carahouse, what they've been cooking up in the lab. What have they got to show us? Multiple pages.
Yeah, they've got a whole strap book there, it seems, but I don't know. So far, I feel like I'm a little bit nervous for them. If this is, you know, the team we're looking at as one of the weaker teams in the group, it definitely makes me a bit skeptical of how they might perform against the likes of even Imperial coming up as one of their next matchups here. So I'm hoping they show us a little bit more here, because otherwise I think this is going to prove to be quite the challenging group for Carahouse to try and make it out of. But we are back into it here, 2-2, all tied up as we continue this one on Ankara.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. This is, I would, you know, like I hate to use the terminology, but I think this is the lowest level of gameplay that we've actually seen so far today. Just in terms of the general messiness of it. But I hope it's just early game nerves, early game jitters, and I think Carahouse have started to look better as we've gone through it, but certainly was quite messy. And, well, MVA, see, that should be getting traded every day of the week, but it's not, and that's not looking good for Carahouse straight up. Pacific Macta just utterly dominate them outside of A. You got that wrap coming in from Revenge. Lucas is going to be done, so not clean at all. Yeah, a little bit of aggression from Pacific Macta that catches Carahouse off guard.
Yeah, I really love the way these guys play on the GR side. It just seems like there's always a perfect flank ready to go. They've always got that presence just ready to collapse across the map. In Carahouse, they haven't had really any good time dealing with that. The only rounds they've won have been these really scrappy on-side fights. This time, though, they are able to at least catch Revenge off guard in mid. Aldrin, though, already there for the trade, keeps things even in the 4-on-4.
Yeah, a little bit better from Carahouse. The flash was so good under Revenge, he could not see a thing. So they've got mid control, but what do they do with it? Where do they go from here?
Yeah, nice little smoke screen set up towards the A bomb side. It is going to be Carahouse working their way in. A shotgun in the hands of Lucas. Kind of a surprising choice from him. Sometimes players use this to clear out the vent position here, which he is going to do, but it's still such a gamble to have in your hands if you do stick with it on the post plant. But what a shot there from Lucas to open things up. But here come the trades. MVA still manages to find two. Aldrin on the backstab, able to get into sight here just in time, but he can't connect on the shots. But look at ZYK. He's already right through the arches for a double kill, and that's another round for Pacific.
Yeah, Pacific Macta just do not slow down at all, do they? I think anytime you see Aldrin still alive, rotating over to that side, you have to be a little bit worried. He seems to make no mistake. It just buys enough time for ZYK to come in from behind, and Carahouse, I mean, what is going on? It was a nice entry with the auto shotty, but unfortunately wasn't converted upon. Just not being able to find the cleanest entries so far.
Right now you can tell they're playing a little bit safe, but not on the side of Pacific. They're going in full force over towards this B-long push. Carahouse, though, going to shut it down. Rambo finds one. Lucas finds a double kill as well on the B bridge. Now it's a 5v2. Lucas sneaks into the GR spawn. MVA Gonna find the kill here onto him, but it's still a 2-on-4.
Yeah, isolated bomb sites as well for Pacific Macta. You'd want to see those two individuals just grouping up. Even if you're gambling towards the wrong site, it is better to have both of your members in the same position. Then at least you can sort of watch each other's backs, trade each other down. It does tend to increase your chances in the round. It'll be MVA to try to make the solo play into the bomb site and can't do much with it. So it should be Carahouse to win the round from here. Bring it back to 3-4. Close affair so far on Ankara.
Yeah, very close. ZYK on the rotation here, trying to find anything he can, but the nade comes down. He's pretty much isolated into this connector, and he should be shut down very shortly. ZYK, though, trying to toy with them for a moment longer, gets at least a kill there out of that one. And now it's going to be the pressure back on the Pacific to try and answer back. Otherwise, Carahouse, this is their chance to tie.
Well, see what they bring out. Looks like they've stopped bringing multiple... Never mind, I spoke too soon. Shady and Rambo both having a sniper in hand. And look at this push from Pacific Macta. They do like to bring that brand of aggression, but you hear all that util, and immediately what that tells me as Carahouse is that B is somewhat undefended, or at worst, there's two players over here. Aldrin, though, does a good job of starting things off, and there's not really much of a response yet from Carahouse. Spoke too soon. 3 kills already for the attacking side. LDX doubles down, and it's just revenge at the end of all the shenanigans. But he has got himself into a position where he can actually fight for this round. Carahouse just need to slow things down and allow Rambo to get in behind, which they do.
Yeah, really solid response here. 2 rounds in a row now for Carahouse, and a chance to take a half with them if they can get this final round here. They're looking a little bit better as they go still. Pretty scrappy, I'd say, between these guys. It hasn't been the cleanest, but it is starting to look better and better for these guys' potential to take a first map for themselves. Pacific, though, I love the counter-aggression these guys throw. Sometimes it works, though. Sometimes it gets completely shut down.
Well, the A hits have been a little bit hit and miss from Carahouse, so can't say whether this is going to go well or not for them. Lucas once again has the shotty in hand, but this time cannot punish with it. 1 for 1 there for Justin. And Rambo, so far, getting the assistance on into that bomb site by LDX. It is starting to fall apart, though. Again, it's Aldrin. You can't hit this bomb site if he's alive.
Yeah, Aldrin having a really good first half here as they close it out. 5-4. As we switch sides, it is going to be in favor of Pacific. But now they've got to answer what they can do on the attacking side of this map. This is where, in the past, they haven't been quite as strong as their GR sides, but this is their chance to close out a big first map in this series, because if they can get a 1-0 lead here, there's definitely a strong chance they could close this first series for themselves. And when you're looking at the rest of this group for them, this is a huge win to start it off if they can find it.
Well, I'm hoping we don't have another tech pause going into the second half here. But it seems we do. Heated exchanges maybe in the Carahouse booth there. Trying to figure out what they need to do here going into the second half to ensure that they can win this map. I mean, it's definitely not a sure thing, but we were speaking quite favorably about them for Black Widow. And I'm sure at this late hour in the evening, they would definitely be looking at a 2-0 as the ideal result for themselves, assuming it's 2-0 that they win. So to lose this first map and then have to make a reverse sweep, that's going to take a fairly hefty amount of mental fortitude.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you how difficult this group is going to be for the other three teams. I think it's going to be a lot of very close matches that ultimately decide who can be that second team through. And right now, Pacific, I'd have to say they're looking like the slightly better team. It's not necessarily the shots that are doing it, it's just the team play. I feel like these guys, you can definitely tell the years of experience they have over this Carahouse team and how they're playing right now.
I think they also have a bit of an X factor in Aldrin. The amount of rounds that he's been able to multi-frag. I can think of 3 particularly impressive ones on the A side. So if he keeps that up and everything else is about equal, you know, maybe that's the difference maker. And it sort of feels to me like that has been the difference maker in a couple of the rounds. Right, round 1 definitely, and even the last round of the half there could have been a completely different story had Aldrin not multi-fragged the way that he did. And 2 rounds doesn't sound like a big difference, but at this point in time, certainly could blow out even further than that.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep up that type of performance going into the second half. I think it's going to be a little bit harder for him to create that same impact on the BL side, but there's definitely still a chance he can do it. I think for Carahouse, this is going to be a chance to show us here that they can play a little bit more of a strategic game in the second half. It's definitely an easier side of the map to showcase that on coming up for these guys on the GR side. Defending here, it's really just getting the solid rotations because this is a really slow retake map at times. It takes a lot of time, as we've seen, to get back in, especially on that B bomb site. So I'm interested to see how they're going to approach this on their defensive half here as they get it kicked off.
Well, still in good spirits, it seems like, for Pacific Macta. Pac-Mac, we used to call him back in the day. Don't know if you were ever around for that. Pac-Mac. I feel like that's an Aussie way of saying, because their name is Pacific Macta, right? Not Macta. But we would say Macta, just because that's how you say that word in Australian. And of course, if you're Australian, you just shorten it, make it Pac-Mac. Easy.
Pac-Mac, I like it. I think these guys they're feeling good about it too. I definitely think they seem like the more comfortable and excited team in this circumstance. It almost seems like Carahouse during this point seems a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. Yeah. I think for them though, I mean, when you have that home field, it can be that extra weight on your shoulders of feeling like you've got to be the team to prove you can do it on your home turf, whereas Pacific, this is kind of their first rodeo in a while, and they're just showing us what they've got like it's not been that long for them at all.
All right, let's see what these two teams have to offer for us in the second half. Shady's already been spotted out there. Gun barrel maybe poking around the corner, but not afraid of staying on the line. We'll just back off eventually, but look at the map control that Pacific Macta have got already. Outside of A, they've taken mid. They're free to roam between mid and this position that MVA is holding down. But in response, Carahouse have played a little bit more aggressively towards the B side of the map.
Yeah, it is a nice little change here. They are still running 2 OMs even on this side of the map, though, so we'll see if that continues to be either a hindrance or a help for them in the second half. ZYK spots out Dola, though, in the B hotel window. Throws the counter utility. They're going to go ahead and back off, at least for the moment. Still no full commitment just yet from the side of Pacific, but look at how far forward they are pushed up in the middle of this map. There's nobody really keeping too much of an eye on it either, aside from Rambo on the off angle.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get the shot, but still connects onto Revenge. A little bit of a tickle. You do have 2 players low on the Pacific Macta side of the field right now. Time is running down as well for Pacific Macta, but as you said, they're so far progressed up into mid that if this ends up being a B split, then they're in a position to make that work really nicely. But multiple players over on that side of the map from Carahouse as well. Revenge doesn't expect Dola on the off angle, watching for that exact push. And so that'll be the end of him. Rambo now under a bit of pressure here, but just backs up, watches the window, cleans up MVA. Carahouse looking better in this round. Dola doubles down, and that is the end of that. Doesn't really end up being a whole lot for Pacific Macta, even though they had such good positioning earlier on.
Yeah, this is where I was a little bit worried about them because they are a really good GR-sided team, but on the Blacklist side, they have been a team that struggles when it comes to setting up to trade on their executions, and that's going to be a big problem against the firepower of Carahouse because they're a team that can hit these shots if you give them the 1v1 opportunities, and they're not looking quite as organized as well on this side of the map for Pacific, so I'm hoping they can find a way to maybe shatter that because up until this point, they've looked really, really good, but this time it's going to be Revenge, who goes swinging, takes down Shady right away. Dola here looking for the reply. He's got the great position to make it happen. Dola only going to be good for one, though. That's not quite enough there to make that impact. Rambo able to find that little fadeaway shot onto ZYK, though, to keep things even in the 3-on-3.
Yeah, just once again talking about spacing, and right there is a good example of it for Pacific Macta. He can't quite hold down that spray. Not necessarily expecting the second player quite so quickly. But it's not too quickly, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go so quickly around the corner that you get caught with the first spray, but you don't want to go too late and allow the player to reset. So pretty much perfectly timed from Pacific Macta, and now they're going back over toward A, which Carahouse had completely left open, but have been given the time to rotate back across and set up in position. Not caught in transition. LDX does get down. And it's good for one. Trade's not there from Lucas. That's a bit of a whiff from him. Luckily, Rambo is able to slow things down, and he's actually dropped the C4 there as well. So Revenge is going to have a bit of a task to try to grab it. Rambo has no idea where exactly Revenge is, which side he's sitting on, but it will not matter. He hits the shot. A big one to win. And the crowd is happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, so far on the defensive side, they're looking much, much better here for Carahouse, but Pacific, they did have the right idea in that round. Aldrin even had a really good double kill to try and open it up. They just weren't ready for that flank coming in from Rambo, but that's going to get them 2 rounds in a row now, and they're back in the lead along with it. Now it's going to be up to Pacific to try and find that response, but we're already going to see Rambo finding himself another one here on A long. It's going to be a double trade as well as Shady takes down MVA, and the numbers still remain strong for Carahouse.
I'm surprised Aldrin is sticking around trying to take that fight. He eventually loses his life as well. There's 2 Orms on the other side of that engagement. Why are you taking that fight with a rifle? It's not working. Rambo and Shady, they have pretty much been duo sniping this entire map. And that is not going to change when they move over to defense. I mean, why would you change?
Well, in the first half, I think there would have been some good reasons to, but on the second half, maybe not so much. Yeah, right now it's looking really solid for them. They haven't yet given up a round on this side of the map. It's 3 in a row, and this is more in line, I think, with what we were expecting in the first.
Yeah, potentially. It's unfortunate for Pacific Macta if it continues to head in this direction. Shady does just miss a shot there as the smoke balloons obscuring his vision. One thing as well that Pacific Macta love to do is toss a lot of smokes out early on in the round. You can see all of the connectors pretty much are smoked off. Then A main, Beacon, and B as well. 4 smokes straight away for Pacific Macta. And yeah, I mean, that might allow you to get a little bit of map control early, but where does that leave you with later on into the round? Bunch of flashes, yeah, but just the 1 smoke.
Carahouse as well. They've got 4 OMs at the start of the round. Dola finally switches off. Such a bizarre transition for these guys. I don't know what it is, but when they feel confident, they all just want to have an OM in their hands on this team, I feel like. And sometimes that can be a bit of a tough one to work with, but at least on the GR side, you are anchoring a little bit more in your positioning, so it can play to at least more benefit than what we saw in the first half. But still, even with 3 of these on the field, I've got to question the decision at least a little bit. Here comes the wide swing, though, from Dola. He's not going to find anything just yet. LDX comes in for the support, but it's Dola who finds the first. Dola finds a second as well, but Pacific gets the better of the exchange as they just steamroll through and take down everyone in their path.
What I'll say is that's the issue when you're bringing Orms to the table, when it's a fight in that kind of close engagement and you're having to deal with multiple opponents on multiple angles. Obviously, the rifle's going to have a bit of a better time of that rather than the Orm. So, I mean, ideally, if you're taking that many snipers, you probably want to be finding picks before the brawls ensue. And they have adapted their selections this round. Just the single sniper on Rambo for now.
Yeah, they've made the right call here. Only one arm on the table, but it is still going to be up to Pacific to try and carry the momentum forward now. They've only gotten a single round in the second half so far. Carahouse playing very turtled up now as well in the 2-1-2 setup, hoping for that pressure towards the A bomb site. They're definitely going to get that opportunity as the C4 starts to group up. They send Shady over as well, so they should have the makings for a good hold here.
Yeah, LDX just jump spotting. And Lucas holding a nade in hand as well. This could work out pretty nicely. Good counter util out initially from Carahouse. Lucas is able to get himself on one alongside LDX, but Shady not grabbing a single kill. And the site is lost. Smoke's blooming. Rambo not going to be able to find too much. Will decide to go straight through it. They find the timing onto Revenge. That is not allowed. That is illegal. Dola with the double has left CYK alone. They don't know exactly where he is, but now he's spotted out, and that is a bit of a failure on the behalf of Pacific Macta to close a round out when they should have been able to.
Yeah, the timing on that retake, especially from Dola, was just perfection there, and now they put themselves in a really good position to take away this first map. An 8-6 lead. They only need 2 more rounds, and this would be a huge swing here on the score to get things started in this series. Pacific, though, they just haven't looked like the same team in this second half, only putting 1 round on the board to match the 4 from Carahouse on their defensive side so far. And maybe this was just the change they needed, because on the defensive side of this map, even though they're doing these crazy multi-arm setups, they seem to be working more often than not here.
Big heavy presence over toward B this time from Carahouse. I'm not sure what exactly it is that's prompted that. Whatever the read is, it doesn't look to be correct at the moment. Pacific Macta with a bit of presence in mid. Bomb still at the top of mid, so they will just as easily go back over to A as they will toward B right now. LDX might have been hoping that the rest of the defenders had hung around there because he needed some assistance, but doesn't get it. And now we're into a numbers disadvantage again for Carahouse on this defensive side. So someone's going to have to do something about that. Will it be Rambo, or might have just caught a glimpse of Aldrin? And he's going to continue to push. I don't mind this as an idea. You need to take some risks when you're down members, and Rambo has been good. Goes one better in that round. Sharp shot, gets Aldrin.
Yeah, now the pressure is on towards this A-bomb side. It's going to be Dola and Lucas again playing first point of contact here. They've got the information, but Dola gets a little bit too greedy. He's going to be taken down right away. MVA able to find that one. Now it's on to Lucas to stall this push. He's going to be good for one. Still looking for that secondary. He's not going to find it. Shady slides into position to try and win this one. Oh my goodness, they don't even know. The bomb's dropped as well. Rambo's on the flank, and now it's a 2v1 for Revenge, and he's already been spotted out as well. Somehow, he doesn't manage the kill onto Shady. Rambo can sneak in and help this 1v2 be traded now.
There's surely no way for Revenge. Good trade comes through for Carahouse. A 9th on the board. Really touch and go these rounds, though. Just a lot of small errors, missed shots, these kinds of things, timings that kind of end out working out a bit awkwardly. I'm not sure why Carahouse is making that aggressive push, but works out in the end, and they might well finish off this map 10-6 right here. This second half has been kind of theirs to lose, it seems like.
Yeah, the GR definitely showing to be a big strength here for Carahouse, but Revenge able to get the opener here, takes down LDX to start off this round. Now they're going to be reliant on that pick to try and answer back. Last time around, it was Rambo, the one to start turning things back in favor, and he's going to do it again. Very nice kill onto MVA, evens the score to a 4-on-4, and now the pressure is on Pacific. It's going to be their map life on the line here.
Yeah. It's amazing how many opening kills Pacific Macta can get and yet not convert those rounds. That is the key. Rambo doing what you need to do when you're in a 4-on-4 as the defensive side. He needs to get information for his team, and he's able to do that. He knows now that the hit's going to be toward the B side of the map, and so Shady is already perched up in the sniper's nest. Rambo claims one more with the Orm, but Aldrin is still alive, not for long. Lucas shuts that down. A 2-on-1 for Justin. Does not have bomb control. He's stuck in between two of the defenders as well. The only thing working in his favor is he does have a lot of time to play with still.
Yeah, the time is on his side. However, the bomb not so much here. It's going to be overtaken by the remaining players of Carahouse here. They've got a nice little 2-on-1 setup ready to go, trying to trade out on it. But here comes the flank from Justin. Neither player quite ready for it, but Justin not able to find that jump shot onto Lucas. Rambo on the off angle now. He's got that value position. Justin has to check both corners here, but he's not going to. And it is going to be the first map getting closed out here with a brilliant second half coming out of Carahouse.
Yeah, 10-6, you know, it's actually kind of the same or similar scoreline as to what we saw throughout